Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney, this is the Brittney Reacts Show. And on this show we talk all things entertainment news. I've been going over movie news, TV news, bit of strike news, no strike news today. But we do have a few fun things to talk about. Mainly with just entertainment news because there is a very big scandal that seems to be brewing with Rotten Tomatoes. Seems like maybe a couple of PR firms have been paying critics to give a positive review for their movies on Rotten Tomatoes, which has been manipulating the score, so that's interesting. Also, it looks like we have a new trailer for American Horror Story's Delegate. It has one of the Kardashians in it, Kim Kardashian, so maybe this will be big, maybe this will be the return to form for American Horror Story, I have no idea. And we also have to talk about Daredevil. There's a little bit of talk about Daredevil and like how fans will react to it. I'm a little bit dubious, so I'm going to explain why I'm dubious. And then the main story of the day, which is that there's a whole article that just came out about all the controversy and just drama that's been going on behind the scenes at Disney, and a lot of executives apparently believe that Bob Iger is just gearing up to sell the whole company to Apple. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. How are you guys doing? Hi Natanya, hi Alex, hi Flying Ipwit, hi the Free Rocket Man, hi Mikey, hi GK Alago, hi Desire, hi the Cover Girl, hi Jax, hi the Blue Gecko Nerd, hi Jordan, hi everyone who is here and who shows up every day. You are deeply appreciated. Alright. And then at the very end, I'm also going to give you my spoiler flash review. I did already give you my thoughts on Friday if you showed up to the live stream live, but in case you missed that, I am going to give you my thoughts on the flash at the very end, so make sure you watch the whole thing. Alright, so getting into entertainment news, the very first thing I want to just mention is actually about Miyazaki. Miyazaki's last film is actually coming to theater soon. It's coming to IMAX, in fact, December 8th. It's called The Boy and the Heron. I'm really big into Miyazaki. I don't really watch anime except for Miyazaki, so I'm actually very excited about this. It's his final one. I feel like I have to see it just to support him. Are you guys interested in Miyazaki at all? Do you think you'll see this movie? They did just release a trailer for it. I think it looks quite gorgeous. I mean, all his movies look gorgeous, but I mean, yeah, the animation is just incredible here. What do you guys think? Anyone interested in seeing Miyazaki's final film? The Modern Designer says, I hope this one is good. Me too. I'm really rooting for this. I think I genuinely am going to see it. In fact, Fathom Events is bringing back Howl's Moving Castle to theaters in a couple of weeks, and I've already bought my tickets for it, so I'm already seeing one Miyazaki movie in theaters this year. LP Harris says, we are looking forward to this. Oh, good, good. Josh Loves Movie says, The Boy and the Heron looks amazing and will help Studio Ghibli make a comeback. I hope they do make a comeback, sincerely. I hope this movie actually does really well, like surprisingly well, because I would love to just get more movies from them. Oh, the Free Rocket Man says, named one of my cats after Princess Mononoke. Oh, that's really cool. I just watched that movie a couple of months ago. It's a really good one. Amethyst says, I've been wanting to watch Studio Ghibli movies, never got around to it. Well, if you haven't seen any of the movies, if you guys have Max, like the streaming service Max, at least most or a good majority of Studio Ghibli films are on that service. So if you want to watch them, just get Max, maybe subscribe to it for like a month, binge watch all the Studio Ghibli films. You won't regret it. They're really good. Troy Pistol says, it did great in Japan. Yes, it did. So that's why I'm really hoping it does well elsewhere. So we'll see. We'll see. Alright. Moving on to the next topic. Yes, this is where we're going to talk about Rotten Tomatoes because, oh boy, what in the world is this? So, Rotten Tomatoes is in a bit of a scandal right now because it's been told in this expose by Vulture that a PR firm has been subtly manipulating Rotten Tomatoes scores for their movies for the past 5 years. I read the whole article, but the Culture Crave did summarize the main points, so I'm just going to read what they put here. The PR firm is Bunker 15, and they pay $50 or more for a review. They often recruit obscure critics who are part of the pull tracked by Rotten Tomatoes. What they mean by obscure critics is like what they call Funko critics, which are basically basically like critics who have some sort of blog and have enough of an audience that they can be counted by Rotten Tomatoes. So they're not like big critics. They don't work for any major publication or trade. So they've been subtly working with like the Funko Pop critics, or a few of them at least, for like small movies to persuade them or encourage them to give a positive review in exchange for money, which Rotten Tomatoes says is against their rules. So they've already taken down a number of Bunker 15 movies from the site to try to say like, oh, we don't condone this, this is wrong. But the story will continue, because I'm willing to bet this is not the only PR firm that has done something like this. I'm sure there are other examples of this. A lot of people have been saying that those Rotten Tomatoes scores are manipulated at least a little bit by studios, so this is the first like confirmed case that we have of that. I'm really curious to see if we're going to start seeing more of this start to pop up. John Burns, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Godzilla -1 trailer out of Japan. Seen it? No, I have not seen the Godzilla trailer. I'm not really into the Godzilla movies. Sorry about that. Thank you for the super chat. Dylan says, oh, hi Dylan. The Blue Gecker Nerd says, are you serious? And I cannot believe I've been tricked this whole time. Unbelievable. Well, to be fair, according to this article, I don't think, at least that we know of yet, it hasn't been done to any like major release. It seems like they've been doing this just for their small festival films to try to get them at least a positive score, so they're picked up by some distributor. So I don't know if like you cannot trust like any of the major releases that you see on there, but it sounds like this has been happening with a lot of small indie films for a while. So very, very curious to see what other films we find might have been a little bit manipulated behind the scenes. Rai Noel says this is the least shocking scandal ever. Isn't it though? Hasn't everyone been saying Rotten Tomatoes is a little sketch for a while? I mean, the entire like way they do the review system doesn't really make sense anyway. People read the score, like the Rotten Tomatoes percentage, and they think, oh, the movie's like 70% good, which is not what that means. It just means that 70% of critics think that it's at least decent. So a movie could actually be like only mid, but get like a high score if most critics thinks it's mid. But a lot of people just see the score and they're like, oh, it's got a high score, so it must be good. And I just think that these Rotten Tomato scores are kind of, I think they have too much control over people's perception of movies, and I think it's probably hurting the industry overall. What do you guys think? The Free Rocket Man says, I only trust IMDb and Letterboxd reviews. I think that's why Letterboxd is getting more and more popular, is because I think people are starting to trust Rotten Tomatoes less and less. I could even see a situation where maybe, like, within 5-10 years, Rotten Tomatoes could be, like, completely irrelevant, especially if more and more stuff happens like this. I mean, how are we supposed to trust these numbers ever again? The Modern Designer says, I always take Rotten Tomatoes with a pinch of salt. I prefer to go to critics I respect. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. Just find a few critics you feel like your tastes align to and you respect, and just listen to them. I wouldn't go to Rotten Tomatoes as, like, the definitive, like, answer on if a movie is good or not. Brian Sala says, oh, we're just talking about Rotten Tomatoes. Don't worry, didn't miss much. Jordan Davis says, I only trust the audience score. More and more people are saying that. I think people just trust, like, the average person. Although, at the same time, the audience score isn't even that super trustworthy either, because a lot of people manipulate that too. Like, either positively or negatively. Like, how many times do you see a movie gets review bombed because people don't like the movie for whatever reason? So not even the audience score is really that trustworthy on Rotten Tomatoes. Really, the whole site needs an overhaul, in my opinion. Oh, Natanya, you're so kind, always. Joshua says, Rotten Tomatoes has sucked since 2017 with The Last Jedi. Is that when they started making all these changes to it? Is it The Last Jedi? Man, the fallout from The Last Jedi should really be written about, like, in textbooks. I'm not even kidding. The massive, like, just the butterfly effect of what happened from that movie is just, like, it's really affected the entire industry at this point. If that's true, that's crazy. Jaden's Toy says, this sucks, now I can't trust my critics. By the way, my favorite episode of Velma is episode 4. Okay. But yeah, I mean, you can always just pick a few critics that you really trust and just stick with them. I think that's probably the way to go, to be honest. The Modern Designer, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Who are some critics you respect or recommend? Oh, that's a good question. I really like, I used to watch, like, Jeremy Jahns a lot. He's good. I like Jeremy Jahns for more of, like, or I don't know if he's still considered this way, but I always see him as more of, like, the layman's perspective of, like, he's not going to be all about, like, super critical about, like, genre stuff. Like, he's kind of he kind of represents the average moviegoer, so that's why I like listening to him. I also like Chris Stuckman because he's kind of, in my mind, like the opposite of that, where he actually goes into like more detail. Dan Murrell's he's a really good reviewer too. Probably those three I listen to the most as far as reviews go. But yeah, I thought I'd bring this up to you. I'm gonna end this segment with this Paul Schrader quote because I think he's very much right about this. The system is broken. Audiences are dumber. Normal people don't go through reviews like they used to. Rotten Tomatoes is something that studios can game, so they do. I don't know if I entirely agree with this statement. Like, I don't know if I would say audiences have become dumber, but I think it's definitely true people don't go through reviews like they used to. So I think maybe just the relevancy of Rotten Tomatoes might decline, but who knows? We'll see. Hollywood has so many issues. Just add one more to the list. Why don't they? Alright, moving on to the next topic. So, yeah, American Horror Story is delicate. American Horror Stories has been going... Well, American Horror Story. American Horror Stories is a different show now. But American Horror Story has been going on for a very long time. Like, I remember watching this show back when it was still, like, in its first couple of seasons, so I feel like the show has been going on for far too long. It probably should have ended by now. I haven't even watched, like, the last couple of seasons. But I'm actually sort of interested in this one just because they're doing a bit of stunt casting. They have Kim Kardashian back on this one. They did stunt casting when they had like Lady Gaga and the Hotel season, and I thought that was pretty interesting, so maybe I'll watch this. I don't know. The plot of this season is described as a woman really wants to become pregnant, but she begins to believe that there are sinister forces in the way of her getting pregnant. I don't know what that's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be like a play on Rosemary's Baby. So that's what the story is. Is anyone interested in the new season of American Horror Story? The trailer is out. I'm not going to play it for copyright reasons, but you can watch it on your own. Anyone going to watch this? Connor Garrett is conflicted. Okay, Dylan. Coven was my first season I watched. I liked Coven. My first season, well, I started from the beginning, but I got into the show around season 2 with Asylum. I loved Asylum. Yeah, it definitely looks very campy. All the seasons are campy, though. I think the show itself is just campy. Oh, unpopular opinion. I didn't like Hotel. Honestly, Hotel was pretty bleak. I mean, they're all bleak, but I don't think I even finished that season. Mickey says, oh, Strays was a bomb. Yeah, I didn't even talk about Strays just because I don't really care about that movie. But yeah, that's another box office flop that we just had. Jessica H says that this new season sounds like the first season. You're right. Maybe they're trying to go back to their roots a bit. That's very true. Seems like a lot of you guys like Coven. Yeah, Coven was pretty good. Okay. So it seems some of you are interested, some of you are not. Oh well. Should I do a poll? Does anyone? Let's do a poll. Quick one. Alright. Starting a poll. Who's gonna watch the new season of AHS? Who's watching? I'm gonna say yes. Definitely looking forward to it. No, not interested, and maybe. Adding the poll. Josh Loves Movies says Coven is iconic. I think Coven gets quoted the most by far. Like, it has the most memes, the most gifs. Definitely. Shelly Lee. Oh my gosh, Shelly Lee. You're always so kind and generous. Thank you so much. Shelly just gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much. So who's a member now? Pretty Princess is now a member. The Couch Potatoes are now a member. Rai Rai Noel is a member. Burning Daylighter is a member. Grace Likes to Draw is a member. Maiden is a member. Cheetah Viper is a member. Did I get everyone? Nicholas Wilson is a member. Alright, Violet's a member. Mickey's a member. Oh my goodness. Oh, these people are members. Yay, congrats to everyone who's a member now. Now you can participate in our members-only community posts on the community page. So thank you so much. Shelly, you are always so kind, really generous. Thank you so much. Alright, I'm really excited to have more members. That's great. Cool. We will get to the member section soon, so we'll get to that in a minute. Going back to the topic. Alright, what did people say on the poll? Hold on. Going to the poll, 61% of you are not interested, so that's a pretty hefty chunk. 18% are saying yes, so I guess this show does still have an audience. 21% are a maybe, so I think that's actually pretty good for a show that I feel like it's been on for 100 years, so good for Ryan Murphy, I guess? I don't know. Ending the poll. Alright, moving on to the next topic. So, Daredevil, or I guess I should clarify, Disney Plus's version of Daredevil. Who has watched the old Daredevil show that was on Netflix? I really, really liked that show, like, a lot. I thought it was, like, 10 times better than, like, all the other Marvel Netflix shows that were on. Even though I really liked Jessica Jones, that was good, too. Daredevil was just, like, a crop among, like, it was so much better than all of them. But now that Marvel owns Fox properties, they can, well, no, this isn't because of the Fox deal. Marvel now has the access to use all of these characters from Netflix from a deal they made a while ago. So now they're making a new Daredevil show called Daredevil Born Again. It's on hold indefinitely because of the strikes, but eventually we're going to get 18 episodes of this show. And according to the director of Daredevil, the original Daredevil, he says he can't imagine that Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, John Bernthal would sign up for something that they felt was not good, basically. Basically saying he thinks the show is going to be good because he can't imagine anyone signing on to it if it wasn't. I think he's being very, very optimistic. Obviously, he's not going to say anything bad about the show because that would be really unprofessional. But I'm actually a little bit concerned about this show. Not going to lie. And I'll tell you why in a second, but who's actually interested in this show at all? Mr. Pizza says, I don't know about Daredevil Born Again being good. That's what I'm saying. I'm about to explain to you why I'm hesitant. Fawad Fareed says, rename it to Daredevil is Bored Again. Josh Loves Movie says, I hope it's good, especially with this many episodes. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for saying that, because they already confirmed that this, not only is it going to have 18 episodes, but they're not even bringing back some of the fan favorite characters from the last one. So, no Karen, no Foggy. These were two, like, really fan favorite roles. I love these roles. In fact, Karen was my favorite character in the original show, so it sucks that she's not going to be in this one. I don't know why they'd bring back Charlie Cox, and they'd bring back Vincent D'Onofrio, and John Bernthal. Like, they brought back some of the cast, but why can't they bring back everyone? It seems like Marvel really wants to distinguish this new version of Daredevil from the old one, but people like the old one for a reason. That's why I'm getting nervous about this new Daredevil, because I don't know. And on top of that, it was already confirmed that this new Daredevil show will be much lighter in tone than the original Netflix series. And one of the reasons, including myself, that a lot of people liked the original Daredevil is because it was very dark and very brooding and very violent. If you're gonna just make this like a light-hearted comedy about Daredevil living in the city, fighting people, I just don't know if it's really gonna have the same effect, especially if they're not even bringing back fan-favorite characters. And you're doing it for 18 episodes, so if people don't like the show, you're prolonging how much time people have to talk about how much they don't like this show. So this could either be a huge hit for them or a really big disaster. So I'm not sure which side this is going to end up on. I think it's a coin toss at the moment, but I'm definitely nervous. Pretty Princess says, oh no, I like the tone. Me too, the tone was one of the best parts of it. So I feel like changing the tone and getting rid of Karen and Foggy just seems like it's going to be an entirely different show, which is why I'm very nervous. He is kind of like a knockoff Deadpool. Not really, just the costume, but yeah, really it's just the costume. Riri Noel says, never thought Marvel would be at DC levels of trouble, but here we are. Oh no. I mean, you're not wrong, but yeah. Marvel never wanted to become the next DC, but with every new choice they make, it seems like they're getting closer and closer to that reality. Or at least the next Star Wars. I don't know. Burning Daylighter says, an 18-episode show makes it sound expansive, but yet they cut everyone, so like, what is the show about? That's a great point. What are they even going to cover for 18 episodes? The original Daredevil series wasn't even that long. So, that's a great point. What are they going to do? I mean, I'm sure they're going to introduce new characters, but it's not going to be the ones we knew, so I don't know. I'm very nervous. I'm going to do a poll for this, since you guys like doing the polls. So, who's excited for Daredevil? I'm going to say, me, I'm definitely excited. And then, no, done with Marvel. Then a third option for never watched the show. And then a last option for maybe. Always a maybe, because maybe something will convince you later on. Alright, adding now. Mr. Pizza says they probably added the Dare God. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Joshua Munn says, like I said, Marvel DC crossovers are coming sooner than we think, since both studios are crashing and burning. Joshua, the day they do an Avengers versus Justice League movie is the day the superhero genre is as dead as the Western. No. I think if they start doing that, that really will kill the genre for good. I think it's in both parties' interest to never do that. But if they do that, oh boy, is that going to be a spectacular, fun disaster to watch. Arvin says, there is a rumor that Jenna Ortega plays White Tiger in Daredevil Born Again, and She-Hulk and Echo will have a cameo on this show. So full of cameos. I don't like it. So is this just going to be like a, kind of like what they did with She-Hulk, where it's like a new cameo of the week, like who's going to pop up this week? I don't think that was all that interesting or engaging for She-Hulk, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm very, very nervous about this. Gotcha Coffee says, what are your thoughts about Megan Fox being an MK1? I don't know. Megan Fox has been trying to have a comeback for a while. Let's see if it works for her. But anyway, thanks. I'm going to go back to the poll now. 36% of you are saying you never watched the show, so thank you for watching this long if you've never even seen it. Honestly, the original show is very good. You should at least give it a try. 29% of you are maybe, so you might watch it. 24% of you are saying no, you're just done with Marvel, you don't even care. Now, I'm curious, to the people who are saying they're just done with Marvel, did you watch the original Daredevil, but you're just not going to watch the new one? I'm curious. And then only 11% are actually going to watch this. That is terrible. That's why all these Disney Plus shows are flopping, because no one is interested in them. Not even you guys. This is terrible. But thank you for voting, everyone. Ending the poll now. Okay, Dylan says, I remember correctly, there have been a couple in real-life comic book series based on the Avengers vs. Justice League. I'm sure there has been comic mashups between DC and Marvel before, but I think in the movie realm, that would kill both franchises. I really believe that strongly. Alright. Oh, Tegan and Hopperoni says Marvel is still way more profitable than DC movies. Yeah, I don't think Marvel's at DC's level yet, not even close, but I'm saying they don't want to get to that point. And if they keep making decisions like this, it could happen one day. That would be really, really sad. Could you imagine the MCU becoming as irrelevant as DC? That'd be really sad. Alright, moving on to the next topic. So, now I've already seen this short because it played in front of, which one was it? It was The Little Mermaid, right? It played in front of one of the Disney movies earlier this year, so I've already seen this short. Carl's Date. It's a short that follows Carl as he prepares for his first date after Ellie's death. This short actually got me, and I'm bringing this up, A, because I actually am going to review it once it's on Disney Plus, because I know this is just kind of the thing that I want to talk to you guys about, but also because the short was really sweet and very emotional, and I loved it. Did anyone see this short? Did anyone like it? Oh, it was Elemental. Thank you. Yeah, I loved this short. Anyone see it? I know, well, some people saw Elemental because eventually it did well. Oh, you thought it was wholesome? Yeah, you thought it was cute. Okay, so a lot of you haven't seen it. Did you guys not see Elemental then? Well, you guys should see it. When it comes to Disney Plus on September 13th, I'm going to review it. I'm going to talk about it because I just think it was very adorable and I want to talk about it. Moving on. Now, here's the main story that I wanted to share with you guys today. This is based on this article here from CNBC. So this is from like one of the sort of reputable big publications. So this isn't just from like any old blog. And it's basically, I read the whole thing. That's actually what I was doing just before the stream started. And you guys, if you care at all about what goes on behind the scenes at Disney and like the corporate drama of like what's going on between like executives fighting each other, or if you care about like what happened between the Bob Iger and Bob Chapek feud, read the article. It is very, very good and very insightful because we learned a lot of information. Oh my gosh, is there so much drama at Disney right now? Like, no wonder they're a mess. Because as some of you may or may not know, Bob Iger has been the CEO of Disney since 2005, pretty much, except for when he wasn't the CEO for like 2 years, when it was Bob Chapek. And Bob Chapek, not poor Bob Chapek, but like, he really didn't even get a chance, because all the article was saying was how much Bob Chapek was just under Bob Iger's shadow the entire time he was CEO, and how Bob Iger didn't want to give up his job, and how Bob Chapek thought he was always like on edge and he was never really safe, and like just a whole bunch of drama about how these two CEOs were like fighting the entire time, and how it created the toxic workplace culture that's at Disney right now, and it has affected their entire business. So again, if you care about like the business side of things, that article was very interesting. But one of the things that came out from the article was that a lot of the executives, both past and present, from Disney, think that Bob Iger's long-term goal is literally just to stay CEO at Disney for as long as possible and then sell the company to Apple. Now, I have already talked about the possibility of Apple buying Disney. This is not a new rumor, but this is the first time that it's coming from actual executives from inside the company and not just from like media analysts who are speculating it might happen. So this is pretty significant. It's showing that this is a real thing that might possibly happen one day, that Bob Iger is actually considering selling the company to Apple. It's kind of crazy. Natani says Bob the Apple. I love how much the chat is just not Bob Iger fans. You guys are really funny. Night Free says, I'm not really interested in anything from Disney. Nothing from Lucasfilm, nothing from Marvel, nothing from Pixar. It's not completely terrible, just really boring nowadays. I don't have the energy. Yeah, I think, as I've been saying, Disney has a huge creative problem where I'm agreeing with you. I think they're trying so hard to be inoffensive and just like play it so safe in everything they do nowadays that a lot of their stuff just comes across as pretty safe and blah to me. And nothing just exemplifies that more than the latest Haunted Mansion movie, because it was just nothing but blah. It's just like things happened and then the movie ended. And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of Marvel and just Disney in general. But going back to this, I already did an entire live stream talking about my theoretical like idea of where an Apple and Disney partnership could go. Like I was pretty far out there with some of my predictions, like technologically speaking, but the two have already worked together a number of times before. Like they collaborated over Pixar, obviously, back in the day. Bob Iger was just helping Apple present the new Apple Vision Pro headset up on stage together. So like the two companies have a lot in common. They've already have a relationship. That's why I think this is something that is very realistically could happen. A lot of people are saying Apple would never want Disney. Why would Apple want the theme parks? But people forget the theme theme parks make a lot of money, like a lot of money. So I don't think if Apple just wants to continue making more and more money, obviously I don't think having the theme parks is a bad idea. What do you guys think about this though? Jordan Davis says Bob Iger is high off that Disney pixie dust. I think he was definitely high on his own supply for a while. I don't think he is anymore though. I think he's been humbled since he's come back as CEO. Kaylee Bliss says, I used to believe in Bob Iger, but after his comments on the strike, I was appalled. I feel weird about going to the movies, period, until the working class get paid their due. Yeah, I can understand that. I think it's just showing you how far removed Bob Iger has become from just, like, the working class, because all of his comments towards creatives have just been very disparaging and, like, kind of heartless. Hidden Name says, I think it's been confirmed that they won't buy Disney. Who confirmed it? Because nothing that I've seen has said it's been confirmed. If anything, I've seen it might actually happen. Possibly, potentially, one day. Caitlin A says, phones, media, and domain, huge parts of land. That's a lot of power for one company. Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. By Apple buying Disney, they would be buying a lot more land, so that's something. Even though the land's in Florida. But, again, read this entire article, because it goes into the nitty-gritty of, like, just conversations that happened in rooms. Like, I felt like I was a fly on the wall, like, in some of these arguments reading this article. Very good article. And I want to get to the member question, because I asked you guys about this whole merger thing. Getting to that. Again, I just had a lot of people become members, so now you all can participate in these posts. So that's great. I asked you guys, if Apple does buy Disney, how do you think Apple would change the company? And I got a lot of really good comments as usual. Jal Pedro, thank you for being here, says, I think the union between them would become an even bigger and more dehumanized corporation. Yep, definitely. It could be bad for all the companies that are already under Disney's power. On the entertainment aspect, because the whole thing would be too big to be properly managed. That's how I feel. Disney is already too big to be properly managed. I don't understand how Apple and Disney combined. Apple are also a huge company. It's just, it would be too big combined. I don't understand how, like, legally this merger could even happen. Like, I feel like that definitely would be very close to a monopoly. Like, right? Like, don't we have monopoly laws? Like, what is the government doing? Kazaki says Disney would just turn into an avenue where Apple can advertise/sell its products. Also, Disney would probably implement even more AI into their movies and Imagineering. Both Iger and Apple are terrible options. Oh yeah, Apple's already working on their own AI software and devices and chatbots, so Apple's going huge into AI. If Apple did take over Disney, yeah, I think Disney for sure would triple down on AI. You probably would be seeing AI movies within like 10 years, probably sooner. Rachel Reads Romance says, under Bob Iger as CEO, Disney has had $1 billion in losses from their movies this year. I know, isn't that crazy? Let me read that again, because some of you guys probably don't even know that. When I say Disney is doing really poorly right now, if you combine all the losses they've had over the past year from their movies at the box office, they've lost a combined $1 billion. $1 billion in losses just from theatrical revenue. That's how badly they're doing. Who knows how much they're going to be losing with this strike? What is wrong with this industry that, with that record, he feels confident he's staying in his job as long as possible instead of fearing getting fired? Executives can just make so many mistakes and they'll always keep their job. That's what's frustrating, and they make the most amount of money. It's not fair, but that's just life. Mikey says, yes, Brittney, can you refresh the member page? Oh, is your name not on there? Okay, I'll refresh it. Refreshing now. Alright. Okay, now I see you, Mickey. Honestly, I just want them to buy it because I have hope that Apple can fix Disney as they have done some animations. But I just hope that they can make it magical again, but it might be too much power for Apple. Can Apple really make Disney magical? Like, Apple is not a pixie dust kind of company. Like, they're very much like a cold, smooth, like, analytical company. Like, they don't really talk about, like, bringing the magic and pixie dust kind of, like, they don't talk like that. I just think they're two different companies with two different work cultures. And I'm really worried that if they did combine, I think that Apple would just take, just as one of you just said, I think they would just make Disney like way too corporate. I think they would suck all the life out of it. And I think they would double down on AI and probably put a ton of technology in the parks. I think they would change Disney like entirely. Honestly, I think they would just turn it into a completely different company. But thank you for being a member. Natanya, as always, I love you. Love the picture. Apple probably can save Disney. And that's why I think this is going to happen. Disney is so in the hole with money and so many problems. I think the only way out for them at this point is for Apple to buy them. And I still don't think that's going to go well for them. So I just think that Disney's stuck between a rock and a hard place for sure. Oh, Grace Lexadrall says Walt would be rolling in his grave. Yeah, he would. I don't know how Walt would feel about his company being sold to a major tech company like this. I'm not sure he would like it. Jordan Davis says Apple would just make Disney into an ad to promote Apple products like the iPhone or the Mac Pro. And Disney may use more technology, making it a technology company instead of the traditional hand-drawn company. Disney for years has been trying to move towards being perceived as a tech company. That's not even new. So honestly, I think you're absolutely right. I think that if Apple took over, I think they would probably just make it all about the tech side of Disney, like the tech that's in the parks, the tech that's, like fueling the streaming business. You're right. I think it would just turn Disney from being a creative company into just another tech company, which would be really sad and a shame for a studio that has such a legacy for our culture and our history. It would be a loss. It would be a loss. Seriously. Liv Harris says Disney princess-themed iPhones, movie/TV shows might get better temporarily, but I don't know how long about the long run. I don't know if Apple will do a bunch of product placement in their movies. They might, but Apple already has a streaming service, and they don't do product placement in any of their shows and movies. So that might be the one thing that they don't actually do. Maybe. And then last comment, Danny, thank you so much for being a member, says, I don't think they will do anything with it. You will just start seeing Mickey iPhones or whatnot. Huge advertisement collab is all this is. I hope it's more than just advertisement and like Apple's way of getting Mickey's face on everything. I feel like they definitely have more plans than just that, or at least I hope so. But thank you everyone who's a member here and who commented. I really appreciate you guys being a member. As always, if you want to be a member, you could just press the join button at the bottom of the screen. It really does help the channel. I really do appreciate it. Angel Barrera, thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it, you guys. You could run Disney better than using a magic 8-ball. I love when you guys are always like, you should run Disney. Like, I take it as a huge compliment, so thank you guys. Maybe a magic 8-ball could do a better job. I don't know. You're probably right, though. At this point, who knows? All right. Now, I do have two pieces of WTF news before I get to my flash review, because I saw some crazy stuff this morning. Now, the first WTF news is actually still about Disney, and it's the fact that they want to put toll booths inside the theme parks. Maybe. They're still thinking about it. But if they actually do this, I might never go to a Disney theme park again. And I go to Disney theme parks almost every year. I love the theme parks. And if they do this, I might never go back ever again. Because, look at this. They're planning or thinking about putting tolls in front of every entrance to every land within the parks. So if you want to enter Tomorrowland, you have to pay $5 per person just to enter Tomorrowland. You want to go to Fantasyland? It's another $5 per person to enter Fantasyland. And that's what they want to introduce into Magic Kingdom and to all the different parks. And I'm telling you, if they do this, I will never go back again. That is some crazy greed. Like, crazy. Not only do you already have to pay through the nose just to get into the park, but now you have to pay just to go, like, travel to different lands within the park you already paid for? Oh no. If they did this, just out of protest, I will never go to a Disney park again. And this is coming from someone who I consider, at one point in my life, I considered Magic Kingdom to be like almost my second home. That's how much I love these parks, and I would never return. That is appalling to me. Definitely WTF news. Um, is this satire? Mousetrap news. I don't think this is satire. I'm pretty sure this is legit. Mickey says they are desperate for money now. This shows how much money they're losing. I don't think that they should be passing down the burden to their guests, though. I think that's the last thing that they should be doing. Some people are saying this is satire. If this is true, well, thank God. Because that would literally be like the end for me. Like, I would be so pissed off. I literally would be done with Disney for good. I really hope it's true. Sincerely. Okay. Some of you are saying it's satire, so let's go with that. The fact that I would even believe this, though, is like, just shows you just how greedy they've become. Because I actually believe that this could be something that they would seriously think about. Because look at this. This just looks like something crazy that they would do. Yeah, I got real pissed when I read this. Because I was just like, oh no. No. Never in a million years would I ever go back to this. Okay, I've never seen this site before. So thank God. Thank God. So moving on to my second piece of WTF news. Have you guys heard of the AI generated song between the Drake and the Weeknd? Not the Drake, but Drake and the Weeknd. This actually happened months ago, and it was already taken off because a person like a human person ghost wrote a song using the AI voices of Drake and the Weeknd. And it actually got so popular that the record labels had to try to take the song down from everywhere because people were streaming it like crazy, even though it wasn't with real voices, it was just the AI voices. Well, the ghostwriter who actually created that hit song submitted it for a Grammy consideration, and the Grammys are saying that it's actually valid because a human person wrote the song, even though The Weeknd and Drake never had any part of the actual recording. So this is crazy to me. This is crazy to me. Not only the fact that this song got as huge as it did, but the fact that it's actually eligible for a Grammy. This is a game changer, not just for the music industry, but also just for voice acting and anything like revolving around the voice. If you can get awards with AI voices, this is a game changer here. Mikey says this is not deserved. Yeah. Rai Noel says Grammys haven't been relevant in years. Very true. Very true. This is insane, Josh. Yeah, it's a bleak future for music. I'm really curious. Are we gonna start seeing other artists now, like having like old deceased artists come back to life in their songs using AI? Like, who's the first person that's gonna have an AI Michael Jackson co-singing on their song? Because like, maybe you could do that now, especially if it's still considered like Grammy award worthy. Like, who's gonna say no to that now? Grammys just made it possible and okay to make AI music, essentially. Like Troy Pistol says those SpongeBob AI songs are fire. I have listened to a couple of AI songs, and to be honest, some of them aren't bad. Although I can still hear the artificial nature of the voice, so it's not there yet. But some of them are pretty close. Oh, you want to do a poll for do you agree with the Grammys? Okay, we can do that. Should the Grammys have accepted... Now, it hasn't been nominated yet or anything. But the fact that it is eligible to be nominated is what's crazy to me. So, did the Grammys make the right call? I really feel for voice actors, man. I feel like voice actors are gonna go first because the AI voices are already about, like, I would say 90% there. They only need, like, 10% more to get, like, fully human-like. And once that's possible, like, I'm just really worried for voice actors. So I'm gonna say, yes, they made the right call. No, they should not have done this. Should I do a third option? I'm just gonna do yes or no. Did the Grammys make the right call? Alright. Submitting it now. LP Harris says, if he gets away with this, it will absolutely be everywhere overnight. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it'll get nominated. Now, if it does get nominated, oh yeah, it'll be game over for the entire music industry. Literally everyone will be using AI voices. But yeah, I can't see this getting nominated. It's just the fact that the Grammys didn't deny it. It's crazy to me. Did anyone actually hear Heart on My Sleeve? Does anyone like think it's actually a good song that's worthy of a nomination? Jiminy Craftstyle says the Grammys making these choices really shows how the bar has been lowered. That's true. That's really true. João Pedro says, I've seen channels on YouTube doing AI covers for songs with the voice of a different actor. Or a different singer. It's happening. It's already happening, I know. Why is Bob Chapek in the chat? Is that Fod Fareed? Fod, are you pretending to be Bob Chapek in my chat? You're so funny. What category would be the nomination? Oh, that's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. I might be... Let me see. Why do I keep getting all these ads? Oh my god, go away. Latin Music Week. Go away. I don't know why. Oh my god, my entire... It will not let me exit out of this. Well, I guess that means I don't need to use this site anymore. But anyway, that was the news that I wanted to get to. I just think that was really crazy. Let me see if I can... Sorry, I can't get to the article. Literally, like, I can't even click out of the ad. But I don't think this is actually going to get the nomination anyway. I just can't see it. If this actually did get the nomination, like I said, overnight the entire industry changes. Like that. Alright, going back to the poll. Let's see. I need ad blocker. I know, right? I used to have ad blocker. Maybe I should go back and add it. Alright. Going to the poll. 90% of you are saying no. That's like pretty much a landslide decision right here. Oh, there's over 300 of you here. Welcome, everyone. I'm glad that you could make it to the show. But only 12% are saying yes. That is very insignificant. So a lot of you are just thinking that AI is bad and should not be acknowledged at all. Now, what if, say, I don't know, 5 years from now, is the stream okay? Are you guys experiencing buffering? It's lagging. Oh god. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go to the main shot. How is everyone? Oh no! I just went to the Flash review tab, which had all my images ready that I was going to talk about for the Flash, and I wonder if that's what made it laggy. Oh no! I'm sorry. Well, I'm hoping that it catches up eventually. Of course, as soon as I get to like a good number. Oh no, it's froze now? Completely? I think you think it's the site? Maybe I should close out of the site. I don't know. Sorry. Is it still lagging? Oh no. Yeah. What did that site do? Okay. I'm in the main, let me see. I'm getting an error message on my end. Okay. It's saying YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. What does that even mean? Oh no! Okay. I know, right? What is going on? Every time I try to do my review of The Flash, I have a tech issue that prevents me from doing it. That's really frustrating. Okay. Is it still frozen? Can you hear me at all? Or, can you hear me? Oh, let me ask. You hear me? Oh, okay, you can hear me. I'm just lagging a lot. Okay. Close out tabs. Okay, so you can hear me, I'm just lagging. Well, this sucks. So I'm just going to give... I'm not even going to try showing the graphics because I think it'll slow it down even more and maybe stop the stream. So I'm just going to give you my thoughts vocally, since you guys can hear me, and what I think of The Flash. Some of you have already heard these thoughts. If you tuned in live on Friday, I gave my review then. Oh, thank you, Mickey. You guys are so kind. Thank you for the super chat. Again, I hope, as long as you guys can hear me, at least I can give you my audio review of The Flash. Thank you again, Mickey. I gave it a 4 out of 10. In fact, since then, my opinion of this movie has dropped. So now I'm at a 3 out of 10. Just because as I was trying to rethink about the movie and like remember what I thought of it, I just could not think of too many things I actually did like. The only thing I like about this movie is the relationship between Barry and his parents. And I like how... This is a spoiler review, by the way, so... I am about to spoil the movie. So if you haven't seen it, just know I'm about to spoil everything. But I did like how they set up the whole reason why Barry had to go in the past was to save his parents. I thought that was very convincing. It made you care about Barry and, like, his entire mission. At least parts of the movie actually had some narrative momentum because you actually cared about Barry wanting to save his parents. So that's at least one part of the movie that I like. But that's really, like, the only part of the movie that I like, to be honest with you. Oh wait, Mickey, it wasn't a super chat. It's just you're a member for a month. That's what that means. Okay. But still, either way, thank you for the response, and thank you for being a member for an entire month. Alright. Yes, I give it a 3, Bob Chapek. It's a 3. Because not only is the only part of this movie I like really the family part, but, like, literally every other aspect of this movie I hated. Like, really, really thoroughly disliked. Like, could not stand it. I thought this movie, not only this was the CGI bad, and if you guys know the channel Corridor Crew, they review bad and great CGI in different movies, and they did an episode where they just reacted to The Flash's CGI, and they pointed out all of the same things that I noticed too, like how a lot of the effects look very wonky, and how a lot of their faces kind of look like the Polar Express. If you've seen the Polar Express, you know how uncanny that movie is, even though I love it. A lot of the visual effects were just not good, and because of that, this movie looked hella, and I mean hella ugly, because there was just so many things where it was just like, it was like a weird light show. It was like, it's like, I don't know, maybe the visual effects artists, maybe they weren't directed well, because I know, I'm not putting all the blame on the visual effects artists, to be fair, because a lot of the times they're just doing what they're told, or they're not given enough time to actually, like, do something properly. But I'm wondering if they're told to design everything to just be, like, random lights. Because I swear, anytime Barry was in doing his, like, time travel thing, all it just looked like was just, like, a weird, ugly light show where you just couldn't really tell what you were even looking at. Even the people that would show up in his weird, like, time bubble didn't even look real. Like, the Henry Cavill cameo, the Ben Affleck thing, like, they look like worse than the Polar Express. Like, I think the Polar Express looked more realistic than some of the CGI in this movie. Like, I don't understand how it got that bad. I'm being harsh about this movie, but it's truly some of the worst visuals I've seen in a movie in a very long time. It's worse than Quantumania. If you thought the Quantum Realm looked bad in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, you have not seen anything until you've seen The Flash. Okay? It takes the cake for worst visual effects of the year, for sure. I mean, it's not even just the visual effects. Oh, it's back? We're back? The lag's gone? Yay! No more lag! Okay, good. Good. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you everyone who stuck around even though there was horrible lag. I apologize for that. Yeah. Okay, so we're good. Anyway, back to the review. It's even how they shot the movie. It was like the director or the cinematographer, whoever's decision it was like their decision to just shoot this movie as unflattering as possible for everyone. Like, there are certain shots, like how they would pan over Batman's face, where they would, like, pan from like below, which no one looks good like from below, by the way, but they would like pan up and like uncomfortably across his face, so it just made him look weird. But then they would do that for everyone. Like, it was like, I don't know, it's like the cinematographer had a personal vendetta against every person in this movie to make them look as ugly as they possibly can. Especially Ezra Miller. Like, I swear Ezra must have pissed someone off on set or something, because they made Ezra look so unflattering. Like, even how they designed Barry's cowl, like, how his mask looks around his mouth, like, the way that it would, like, pinch in the corners, and it just made his face look very angular and weird in a very Tim Burton-ish way that is not cute. It just, I'm sorry, everything about this was just uncanny. That's how I would describe this movie. Uncanny and just generally unpleasant to look at. And I know maybe I shouldn't focus on the CGI and the visuals as much, but literally that was the worst part of the movie. And it's so much of the movie, it's hard not to point it out when there are just long segments of this film of just the most ugly light show full of just weird, gross, fake, I don't know, Polar Express looking people, where it's just like, what is going on? This movie was made in 2023, not 2005. Yet some of those sequences could have fooled me. That's how bad the CGI was. And so when it's just like 2 hours of that, or over 2 hours, I mean, how could you not notice? How could you not talk about it? So yeah, it's terrible. It's really, really bad. Evil Connor says, as ugly as they possibly can. I'm done. It's true. It's true. Josh Loves Movie says that was the director's decision, and he's doing Batman, the Brave and the Bold. I know! How are they getting the same director for The Flash to do their next Batman movie? This is why DC... Sorry. This is why DC is such a mess. Like, why? Why? Like, and all the cameos, too. Sorry about that. All the cameos were literally, like, mostly just CGI. Like, for one of them, they didn't even ask the poor guy for his, for permission to use his image. They just used it anyway. They had a freaking CGI, what's his name? Nicolas Cage to play Superman. I don't know why they got a CGI Nicolas Cage to play Superman when they could have just got, I don't know, the real Nicolas Cage. But I guess that was just too much for them, so they decided to give us some weird, like, dead-eye Tom Hanks and Polar Express look. I don't know. But it's just like, everything about this was just a misfire for me. Anytime that it was just Barry talking to his parents, that I was okay with. Any other time in the movie, I was just waiting for it to end. So yeah, that's my review. Did not care for it. Star Film Studio says 2005, but it's 2003. Yeah, 2003. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The visuals look like... I'm talking about, like... Some of this stuff was just so unnerving and off-putting. It was like, again, it was like the director was intentionally trying to make everyone uncomfortable with how off-putting they made everyone look. Even Ezra Miller. Like, the last shot of this movie is a really weird, uncanny shot of a tooth falling out of Ezra Miller's face. Except you can tell the tooth is fake. So, because it just kind of, like, looks like it's floating there in the air, and he's, like, giving this weird, like, look to the camera or whatever, and it's just like, why? Why do you make every decision possible to make your actor look so freaking weird? Like, you don't have to do that. And there was just so many moments. It was like, every now and then when I was starting to think, okay, yeah, maybe the show's alright, maybe this movie's okay, it's not too bad, they would break it up with some weird gag. Like, some of the humor in this was like slapstick level humor, like lowest common denominator, like ha ha ha, he fell over kind of humor. And I was just like, what? Like, no wonder there are so many scenes and gifs from this movie where it just looks so weird. Because the entire movie is filled with these moments where you're just like, why did they do that? What was that for? Why did they make it look like that? Why are there babies falling in the air? And why do they look like they're babies from a PS2 game? I don't understand. But those were the decisions that were made. So, you know, that's how I feel. 3 out of 10 is where I'm at. And the only reason it's out of 3 is because Well, again, I liked at least some of the family story aspect, and I liked, I don't know, it wasn't Jurassic World Dominion, so it's a 3. Oh, Shelly Lee has been a member for a month. Thank you so much, Shelly. You're so kind and you're so generous and always active in the comments. I really appreciate you, Shelly. I don't need to season my chicken now because Brittney is applying the salt. I like that saying, yes. Maybe I'm being a little bit salty, but if you see the movie, you'll understand. And the cameos they do add, it's like, who cares? Like, why did they add a cameo for Nicolas Cage? Like, there are a very small number of people who even knew that Nicolas Cage was supposed to be Superman at one point. Like, that cameo plays to such a niche crowd, yet they did it anyway, and it was such a long cameo too. Like, that sequence lasted longer than it should have, especially since they just used a CGI version of him that didn't even look good. But they did it to please, like, the 10 people in the audience that go, oh, I know that. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Nothing about this movie really did it for me. Did anyone like this movie? Did I harsh anyone's mellow? I really thought, to be honest with you, when I first started this movie, I genuinely thought maybe there was a chance that I would be surprised and I would like it. Because some people do like it. I mean, there were a lot of, before people actually saw the movie, a lot of people were saying the movie was going to be good, that there were rumors that the movie was fantastic. And a lot of reviewers that I watched even said that they liked it. So I was like, oh, maybe there's a chance I'll actually like this. But no. And the thing was, it wasn't even until the third act. Everyone says the third act is the worst part, and it is, by far. But I was already, like, over it by the first act. I was like, oh no. If this gets worse from here, we're in for a rough time. Because, oof. The modern designer says, please start a spin-off Brittney Rants channel. Maybe I should just have, like, whole streams where I pick a movie that I hate and I just rant on it. Would you guys want to see that? I could do that, maybe. I mean, they brought back Supergirl. Not brought back Supergirl, they had Supergirl in it, but, like, Supergirl was literally just there to just kind of pout at the camera, look cool, and then she died. And that was it. And I was just like, oh, cool, we get a new character. Oh, she's dead. I could have cared about her if we got to spend more time with her, but all she did was she just kind of did, like, this mean, like, pouty face at the camera the whole time. I mean, it was kind of cool, it kind of worked, but, like, I need more than that, you know? And then the second Barry that the main Barry was talking to, the younger Barry, he was so annoying. Like, take how annoying Barry already is and then, like, make him younger and more naive and more ADHD, and, like, you have one of the most annoying characters ever. Because it was just non-stop quipping, non-stop, oh, I can be funny. Now, to be fair, the point of his whole personality was that he was supposed to be annoying, but he was annoying me. So I didn't appreciate how annoying he was. I was just like, alright, he's done, okay? Oh, okay, you guys do want me to do a live stream where I rant about something? Okay. I'll do a rant, sure. I'll do a rant. Maybe I should rant. What should I rant about? What's a movie I should rant on? Yes, Josh loves movie. Blue Beetle was way better than The Flash. I liked Blue Beetle a lot more than this one. Blue Beetle was actually pretty decent. This one was insulting. That's how I would describe it. Uncanny and insulting. Did not care for it. Yeah, they definitely wasted Supergirl so much. Burning Daylighter said she was modeling so much. She was just voguing at the camera. Like, she wasn't even, like, didn't really have a personality. She was just like, oh, I'm gonna, like, look cool and tough and sexy, and, like, that's, like, every scene she was in. It was just that same face of, like, I'm gonna smolder at the camera. And I'm like, alright, I see the smizing. Tyra Banks would be happy, but, like, I need more acting than just the modeling, you know? Sorry, I'm not done. I'm just being real. I mean, she seemed cool. Poor the actress ended up being, like, the only person that wound up being able to even promote this movie, so the actress seems cool. No hate towards her. I just thought it was very funny how that the character was literally just, like, voguing at the camera the whole time, and that was her whole thing. It was just like, okay, cool. What was that about? And then they brought back Michael Keaton as the Batman. Firstly, the marketing tried to make this seem like Michael Keaton was basically going to be in this movie as much as Ezra Miller. Like, they really tried to make you think this movie was going to be a Batman movie, and it was not a Batman movie. He was only in it for like a short period of time. And honestly, he just seemed like, Michael Keaton himself just seemed like he was just there to spout like his fan favorite catchphrases and then just go home and collect his check. Like, that's kind of how he was in the movie. He was just like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna say the let's get nuts line, I'm gonna say I'm Batman, and I'm just gonna go home and make my millions, and that's it. Like, he was very much just, I just was not given any sort of like feeling that he cared. Like, dude was just there to collect the check, and you know what? I kind of respect it. But as considering the fact that they spent so much time like putting his face in the marketing, I was a little disappointed. I was just like, well, he's here, but it doesn't seem Michael Keaton wants to be. And then they ended the movie with freaking George Clooney coming back. And I haven't even seen George Clooney's Batman movie, so this had no effect on me. But again, they ended the movie with that stupid tooth falling out, and it was just like the perfect ending for a very awful movie. So yeah, that's that's where I'm at. Anyway, anyone seen this movie? Who actually liked it? Did anyone think that like the movie is actually good and I'm just being like overly harsh on it? Did anyone like this? Alex says, first time I saw the trailer I was confused if it was a Flash or a Batman movie. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think they were deliberately trying to confuse people because they knew a lot of people didn't want to see it because of Ezra Miller, so they were like, don't focus on Ezra Miller, focus on Michael Keaton. And I think they probably convinced a lot of people just because of that. Or not a lot of people, because no one showed up, but at least 10 people. Queen Bee says, I thought the Dead Sea was salty until Brittney saw the Flash. Am I salty? Or am I just right? I don't think I'm salty. I think I'm just right. If you've seen that movie, how can you defend it? How? Tell me. Okay. Don No Thacker says, my dad tried to watch it and he barely got through in half an hour. Yeah, honestly, even in the first half hour, I was already like, oh boy, what am I about to watch? So many people were like, yeah, the movie holds up until the last act, and I thought maybe I would have the same opinion. But in the first act, I was already like, oh no, what are these babies? Why did my PS2 Harry Potter game from like 2001 look more realistic than these babies? Yeah, it was not I was not into it. Even from the beginning, I was just like, oh, this is why this movie flopped. Okay. But anyway, those are my thoughts on The Flash. As you could tell, not a fan. That's it. I'm glad I finally got my thoughts out. I'm sorry I couldn't give you the images. I had images to perfectly illustrate all the things I was talking about. Oh, and one last thing. The horizon line drove me up the wall. I don't know why they chose to shoot this movie this way, especially in the final battle in the last, like, hour. It was like, for some reason, how they always shot it, the horizon line was always in the middle of the screen, no matter where the characters were standing, no matter where the camera was. It was always like you could see this just flat ground until, like, this very bright blue sky, and the horizon line was always like in the same place no matter where they were, and you could tell that horizon line was there because that's where the actual ground ended and that's where the green screen began. So that's why the horizon line was always there, but it drove me nuts. So I could literally tell where like the green screen started because you could always see that line, and it drove me up the wall. Do the poll. Okay, I'll do the poll. And doing the poll. Starting the poll. Okay. Did you like The Flash? I did rip it to shreds. But, I mean, I'm right. I'm sorry. Did you like The Flash? Okay, loved it. Next is hated it. So this is me. Third option is it was alright. Last option will be haven't seen it. Why? Okay, last option, haven't seen it. Alright, very curious to see what you guys think, because if anyone who did like this movie just sat through that, you're probably like, you're wrong, you're so wrong. Yes, I did have a mid option, is that it's alright. Fodfried says, did you see people simping for Supergirl online because so many people were? Well, I'm not surprised they were simping. I mean, the actress is a very beautiful woman. And she modeled and vogued her way through that movie, so she made sure she looked good. I know, you guys do love your polls. Michael refused to support it. That's why I didn't see it in theaters either. I refused to support it. Brittney is burning The Flash. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, so 61% of you haven't seen it, so that's a good majority of you. I mean, based on the box office, I guess that's not surprising. 19% of you thought it was just alright, or 18%, not 21%. 19% of you hated it. That should be higher. 3% of you loved it. Interesting. 3% of you loved it. I want to know the 3% who loved it. I'm not mad. I'm not disappointed. I just want to know why. The 3%. What made you love this movie? The Flash was okay. I didn't care for it, says Jake Calcolo. Yeah. I mean, I honestly thought that would be my opinion. I thought I would end this movie with, yeah, it was just alright, like a lot of movies I see. But this one was an extra level of just awful. Yeah, who did like the movie? Be honest. I'm sorry, I know I'm being very, like, harsh on the movie, but I'm not gonna be mean if you say you like it. Fodfree says, there was this one guy that said, how are the men on Krypton not busting? What? What are you talking about? I haven't seen not one person in my comment even speak up, too. Did I scare you guys into being silent? I'm sorry. I'm literally waiting for someone to be like, yeah, I liked it because of this reason. Drew Dole says, I don't like Ezra, so I can't even watch it. Yeah, I mean, that's literally why. So anyway, ending the poll. I think I scared the people who liked it. I'm sorry. Oh, the Banana Prince thought it was funny. Okay, so maybe you thought it was funny. Maybe it just wasn't my humor. I don't know. Oh, Brianna calls it a nightmare movie. Kinda, yeah, kinda. Diego says, I did cry in The Flash towards the ending with his mother. Like I said, anytime Barry was with his mom and there wasn't any sort of CGI ugliness going on, I thought the movie was actually okay. It's just a shame that's only like maybe 5% of the movie, because the rest of the movie is CGI ugliness. Josh Loves Movie says that was the best scene in The Flash. It really was. Desire Felix says, I did not see faith in The Flash and even in the future. I mean, if you guys didn't see it, you're really not missing anything. If you want to watch something just to laugh at it, there was one scene in the movie that literally made me laugh out loud because I thought it was so dumb. And it's a scene in the movie where Barry is trying to go back to fix something that he did, and to do that he just sticks his head through like a portal, and so you just see like his floating head there. And it just looks so like, it looks worse than the floating head in the Thor Love and Thunder movie. If you guys know what I'm talking about there, it looks even cheesier than that somehow. Literally the first time I saw that in the movie, it made me like burst out laughing because it looks so dumb. But yeah, this is the kind of movie I was literally laughing at. Not with, at. Laura B says, thank you for doing the review again. I won't see it after hearing your roast. Oh, I'm glad I could save you the pain of having to see weird contorted faces. I don't know why they did that. It's so strange. Again, it's like, even certain shots, like, again, I watch Corridor's Crew. If you watch Corridor Crew, they're really good. You should subscribe to them. But they reviewed one of the scenes, and they showed how if you actually slowed down the movie, like, frame by frame, you would notice that in certain shots, like, Ezra Miller's head was, like, really, really big. Like, the size of Ezra Miller's head kept changing from scene to scene, from, like, moment to moment. Like, that's how wonky the CGI is. And in some of the shots, his head is giant. Like, truly, truly massive. And I'm like, why did the director just go out of his way to make Ezra Miller look so just bizarre as possible? It's like he must have hated Ezra. I don't know why, but Ezra must have done something, because it's like he tried to make Ezra look ugly. It was just so weird. But anyway, yeah, 3 out of 10. That's how I feel about it. Only see it if you want to roast something or laugh at something, because I just don't think it's worth your time, to be honest. But yeah, that's the end of the live stream. Oh, this actually went on for a lot longer than I expected. Holy crap, it's 8:17. Alright, so I'm going to end the stream today, or end the stream right now. Thank you everyone who showed up. You guys are so kind. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you, Shelly Lee, for gifting 10 memberships. That's incredible. I'll see you guys tomorrow, as always, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This has been really fun. I'm glad that you liked my big roast. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.